want to get into more of what you're doing now, some of the things that have worked, but you told this like crazy story on Twitter about John McAfee and some of the things that went down with the business idea you had there. Have you talked about that before on a pod? I don't know if you have, but I would
Yeah.
love to
Yeah.
let the audience hear some of that story because it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's a good story. It was 2018 and I'd been in crypto for a couple of years. It just as like a holder, and I kind of had a thesis that altcoins, like you could predict the price movement of altcoins based on how much hype there was around it, which isn't rocket science, right? But I wanted to measure it. And so I tied a bunch of APIs together to Google Sheets through Zapier. And I made this very elaborate Google Sheet that took CoinMarketCap's top 1,000 coins and it divided them all against a hype score. And so if you had a coin like Ripple that had a huge market cap, but a hype that was dying down, then my algorithm would say sell it because people aren't talking about it as much anymore and the price hasn't caught up to it. Conversely, if you got a unknown token with a small market cap that everyone is talking about, my algorithm would say buy it. And I looked for this and it didn't exist. And so I put it together and then I started investing in it and it worked. And so I wanted to sell this. I wanted to promote this, but I had zero audience. Facebook and Google didn't allow paid ads for in the crypto space. And so I went to Twitter. I was very active on I was an active consumer of crypto Twitter content, but I didn't have really an account. And John McAfee at the time was the biggest crypto Twitter influencer. So I DM'd him, no response, and I cold emailed him, but his email wasn't public. And so I just kept guessing it. And I finally got him to open it. And then I kept following up. Then he finally opened it. And my pitch was, let me come to your house and show you this spreadsheet. And if you like it, then we'll talk. And I finally convinced him and we set up a time. It was early 2018. And I showed up his house and knocked on the door, opened my MacBook, showed him the spreadsheet. He grasped it immediately. He thought it was brilliant. I gave him 25% of the business and he tweeted about me twice per week for like a year or so. And we grew a big community, 70,000 holders. We had a free airdrop. We had a paid group and we had this token with like a decent sized market cap until, the market crashed and we crashed and I moved on with my life. That's the
Yeah.
abbreviated
Well,
version.
he had like armed guards and stuff. I mean, you kind of glossed over like the going to his house thing. It seemed like pretty crazy in the tweet that you put out there. Some of the pictures.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was everything that people might imagine that he is. He had armed guards. There were hard drives everywhere. There were guns laying on the floor. There was an Australian film crew there. Alcohol everywhere. It was just as you would imagine. It was John McAfee's house.
It's pretty wild. I like lots of different parts of that story. One was like, how do I ride this wave? Seeing that like, hey, there's all this stuff going on. This is being traded. All these coins are being traded. How do I get in contact with this person who's high profile? That's one of those things where I think most people are just scared to reach out, or if they do reach out to high profile people, they just like let it go after one try. But just the tenacity to like guess his email and then try to get after it. I mean, there's like lots of little, as quickly as you went through that, and then you kind of glossed over the model, but that's just like such a just shows that like you understand that like, hey, I see a trend. I'm going to try to find the person who can help me promote it. Like there's just a lot there that I think someone who's aspiring to be an entrepreneur could take some wisdom nuggets out of that.